Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. So this morning I'm in Kloofendal Nature Reserve. That's big mining machinery from the past that you see there. I guess I've never said it before, but I do guide at this nature reserve from time to time as well. But this morning we are here for what they call an enrichment exercise. So one of the fellow guides here, Jonathan Leeming, will be taking us on a spider and scorpion workshop. Oh, there's a pygmy fellow. Morning, Jonathan. I was vlogging. So we're going to check what to do in the event of spider and scorpion bites. So Jonathan is a spider and scorpion expert, and he will take us through that.
I don't want to be in the hybrid, but he sat on the side.
Yeah.
Maybe got there half an hour before, and some Dutch people.
Yeah. Yeah, bit my frying.
First aid is applying some kind of medication or bandages or something. When it comes to spider bites and scorpions, honestly, there's not much that you have to do. Okay, it's more about first response. And to me, first response is understanding the situation. Is it a medical emergency or not? Okay, and if it is a medical emergency, what do you do? Those are the two kind of cornerstone questions. So you guys know who I am, right? Scorpion guy, etc., etc. I speak at medical conferences on spider bites and scorpion stings. I kind of fly the flag for spiders and scorpions, and everyone talks about snake bites. So I'm normally like not an afterthought. It's an important part of the whole thing because it kind of completes our understanding. But I've got a different way. So there's lots of medical doctors that we have which are specialists, and they treat the actual bites and stings, and they're absolutely awesome. And underneath that, there's that period between when you get bitten and stung and when you decide to take the patient to some kind of medical facility. And that's where I like to kind of occupy that. If you're a highly venomous scorpion, what's going to happen to you if you get stung by them? Unconscious? I like that. Unfortunately not. Unless you're running for the first aid kit and trip and bang your head on a... Okay, there's so many ideas that we have.
The whole response depends a lot on the person.
It does. That's
Yeah.
exactly where
If they're
I'm going
allergic,
with
it
this.
will be different.
Whenever you see that venomosity rule of thumb, which was actually my idea in 2003 when I wrote Scorpions in South Africa, that was me creating a little, like a very easy to understand, diagram saying, by looking at a scorpion, you can work out if it's weakly venomous, mildly venomous, or highly venomous. It doesn't dictate the outcome of the sting. What it dictates is it's a comparison, between the scorpion venoms. So it has very little to do with the outcome in many respects, but it does add to the outcome. I'm going to show you something in a moment which is going to make it, yes?
Sorry, Jonathan.
Yeah? There's this whole kind of idea that's out there, which I don't think it's misconstrued, but it's probably misinterpreted. Like if you see a small scorpion with small pincers and a very thick tail, it's deadly, right? We get that little reddish brown in bathtub and think, I don't know how many times people say they've got a deadly scorpion in their house, and they try and get the fumigators in because, it is like DEFCON 5 in their household, and all the pets and the kids and everyone else gets kind of swept away somewhere else while they fumigate the house. It's a small one like that. It's not of medical importance because of the size. But people misconstrue the small pincers and very thick tail. And all that was really designed to do was to say weakly venomous, mildly venomous, highly venomous. So, and that's kind of preempting the symptoms if you really think about it. It would be nice to look at a scorpion to preempt exactly what's going to happen, but it doesn't happen in the real world. So my involvement with these medical conferences and these doctors, we've got WhatsApp groups. I'm involved with the Poison Information Helpline. It provides a very nice kind of window of opportunity in for me to understand what actually happens out there in the field. And I can tell you, our perceptions of being bitten by a spider and stung by a scorpion, or even bitten by a snake, and the actual way that people get bitten by snakes, because we've got 20 years worth of records, is completely different. So there's that mind shift, and there's also that disconnection from the natural world. People are afraid of these things. There's something about snakes, spiders, and scorpions. There's that aura of mystery, and I think it's kind of impregnated in our mind from maybe 200 years ago. You know, if you wanted to murder your cheating like husband or something, you could very easily do it by using venom, and no one would know. So there was that kind of mystery behind that. No one knew the mechanisms of how these things work. Now we understand how venom works. What's the biological action on our physiological pathways? We understand that. Two questions which really freak me out. I don't know the answer to them. One is, how can two people see one spider, someone loves it, the other person wants to kill it? It's the same spider, for Pete's sake. The other one is, why do we treat bites and stings so ineffectively? Why are we more likely to burn ourselves, electrocute ourselves, pull out our knife and cut our arm and suck the blood out? Why do we rub lemons on, drink milk, drink alcohol? Why do we rub feces on our arm? Why do we kill the scorpion and eat it? You know, all these things have no effect whatsoever. But so normally the first thing I whip out is this little thing. Okay, so we've got the venomosity rule of thumb, and it's true in southern Africa that scorpions with thick tails and small pincers are more venomous than scorpions with very thin tails and very large pincers. If you can remember that, okay, so small pincers, thick tail, more venomous than a scorpion with big pincers and thin tail. We all know this. It does influence the outcome of the sting, but that's not everything about it. I'm going to speak about it in a moment. All right. Birds, groups of spiders, except the sac spider. There's only one species that we think is medically, or that we know is medically important, and that's Pterocanthium furculatum. So when we look at our button spiders, we've got the black button spider. There's 4 species and 3 species of brown button spider. Black button spiders never have that red hourglass marking under the abdomen. It's a good example. If everyone knows the wrong thing, it must be right. I even catch the medical doctors every time with that question.
So it's like a black widow spider.
It's not a black widow.
No.
Be careful with common name.
No.
Very careful with common name. And I think it has a black button. If anyone has a button spider in their house with a red hourglass, it's a brown button spider. I know people try to convince me it's a black one. And our common name brown button spider is a bit misleading. They can be brown, they can be very dark, almost black in color. And they can be almost whitish in color as well.
So how many species of black button spiders?
4. 4, yeah.
And they don't all have the famous arm.
None of them.
None of them do. They've got like a
The
dog thing.
American black widow does, Lactobacillus mactans, and the Australian redback also has that hourglass mark. And they're very related spiders. They're all kind of black button spider group related, but our ones don't. Then we've got violent spiders, which everyone's heard
That's
about.
your favourite, eh?
That's my favorite. That's Rod's favorite. Okay, everyone's heard about violent spiders. When people tell me they've been bitten by a violent spider, it's immediately like, okay, question mark says in my mind, okay, is it a spider bite or not? And we're going to get there. We've got about 7 species of violent spider within southern Africa. A couple of them live inside homes. So they do come into houses and they do live inside cupboards and things like that. They've got this strange aversion to rough textured things. A number of species. They only live where there's rough textured things, like if there's a piece of cardboard, you might find them in the piece of cardboard. You won't get them in your pots and pans because they're nice and
Smooth.
canvas tents. Yeah. It's normally permanent shelters. I was involved in a research project where we went to look at spiders in caves. And we found lots of violent spiders. So where we get caves, where we get mines, you'll get violent spiders. So we've got violent spiders here. They look very similar to a daddy longlegs. Very similar. Even the eye pattern looks very similar. But there are ways to better tell them apart. Then we've got the sac spider here. There's a lot of social gossip about it at the moment. It's just gossip at the moment. It's good to question what we already know, just to redefine our understanding of the world. But right now, there's no evidence that a sac spider is not medically important. We've got research papers that say that they are. We've got the scorpion inside. All right, which does happen. People have phoned me about that. I said, don't send me pictures.
I'm not.
Because it's not a life and death situation for that scorpion, it's almost like a warning sting. So normally the symptoms are very mild. So if it's Paraphytus granulatus, it'll still be kind of serious, but you'll have milder symptoms. If you're walking around at night and you stand on a scorpion, because you're killing it, it will inject as much venom as it can. And the more venom that gets injected, the more serious the symptoms will be. Okay, so there's lots of these different factors when it comes to the situation. Okay, that influence. Oh,
He's just on that. Just there.
Oh, there it is. Yes, yes.
Do you see him?
Yeah, sitting with its back to us.
He's just over there.
Yeah,
Oh yes, I see him.
beside.
I see him. Do not have my right lens. Hey guys, so I have to use the camera to record because both the batteries on the GoPros died. So our walk with Jonathan has finished. It was quite an interesting walk. Jonathan is an expert in spiders and scorpions. I don't know if I said that at the beginning. And he wrote the book on scorpions of South Africa in 2003. And he gives talks and presentations at many conferences to say what to do in the event of a spider bite and scorpion bite, and actually how to, avoid being bitten in the first place. And then, just on nature and guiding and things like that itself. So we are actually a little bit in a hurry and need to rush off again, or we would have hiked a little bit more in the reserve. But yeah, I do guide in the reserve almost on a ad hoc basis whenever there are groups that come through. It's a little bit of a small reserve here on the west rand of Johannesburg. Good hiking trails and some nice bird life, which we saw this morning. I mean, I've seen, I've logged pitmayfro, I've logged Diedrichs, and even heard a classes cuckoo, so some good birding. In the winter, I've also seen fairy flycatcher in the reserve as well. So very good for some specials for Gauteng almost. So yeah, gonna sign off here, and then I will link Jonathan's details in the video below. He's got a channel as well, so head across to his channel and give him a subscribe, because he does these walks quite regularly. And if you want to join him on any of these walks, it is a good way to spend 2 hours on a weekend day. Usually he does them on the weekends for the public, and I think they start at 8 o'clock. So yeah, you can join him. He puts out when he's doing them on his channel, so please go over and check him out if you are interested in seeing some of the spiders and scorpions that we find in and around our urban areas here in Johannesburg. Okay, cool. Signing off until the next one.